Hello everyone, season's greetings. Thank you for inviting me into your living room today to share a story with you that I call family gatherings. This time of year, family gatherings are dreaded by a lot of people. They really don't like the idea of getting together with their obnoxious siblings or overbearing parents or relatives who only want to argue with them if they disagree with their point of view. But for me, family gatherings, it's much more than just breaking bread. It's an opportunity to revisit my roots, to visit with people who watched out for me as I was wandering through the neighborhoods when I was a kid, who used to accept me into their home anytime I would knock on their door to visit with them. They would feed me, take care of me. People would share their values with me, share their idea of what society was. And it's because of them that I am who I am today. I just love being with people like that. That's pretty much the older generation now. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of the older generation left for me, but there are a few contemporaries that have the same experiences that I had when I was growing up, and I enjoy being with them and reminiscing about stuff like that. Then there's the new generation, the generation that for me started when I met my wife. My wife is Latina, and she invited me over to her house to meet her family, what I now call mi familia, because it was well over 40 years ago. So I walk into the house, into the kitchen, expecting to meet her mom and dad. We take a few steps into the living room, and boom, here's mom and dad and brother and sisters. My wife has 7 sisters. There's aunts and uncles and siblings, all in a big circle just staring at me because I was on display. I was brought over to meet everybody in the family. I had no idea I was going to meet everybody. Well, actually, I thought it was everybody, but it really wasn't. It was just a small portion of who everybody was. They were all staring at me with those big, beautiful brown eyes, and they all welcomed me into the family right then and there. And from that day forward, I've always been a part of that family. That's why I call them mi familia. Now, the joke in the family is that since we've been married for over 40 years, they all say that I'm more Latino than I am Anglo. They all think that's pretty funny. Nancy and I were married 12 years before we had any children. So we were the ones that babysat all the kids, all of her sister's kids and things. And we bonded with each and every one of those nieces and nephews. We have a wonderful relationship with all of them. Then we finally had our kids, and by the time we had our kids, the kids that we babysat were old enough to babysit our kids. And so they bonded with our children, and their parents did as well. And so our bond is just very, very strong. I'm just so lucky to be part of such a big, grand family that is so well bonded. As I got older, I learned about trust. I learned that you could tell trust exists in a family by looking at the eyes of your relatives. Little kids, for instance, if they're at the Christmas tree and they get a present that they're really excited about and they're just gleeful about, they turn around and they look at you and they're searching for your eyes, and they want to share that joy with you through their eyes. It's so fun. And then, of course, at family gatherings, there's always some kid that falls down, scrapes their knee, and they're crying and they're hurting, they're holding their owie, and they're searching your face for your eyes, looking for understanding and help. And of course, they're going to get both of those, strengthening the trust we have in each other. And then there's the adolescents or young adults who, for me, I just love this. They seek my advice. They'll come, we'll be at family gatherings and we'll sit down and talk, and they'll start talking and how's life? Oh, everything's good. They'll talk to me and they'll ask me a serious question about life. So I'll do my best to answer them. And when I do, they're staring directly into my eyes, listening to every single word I have to say. They may not like what I have to say, but they do appreciate and know how genuine I am. And they trust exactly that I am a true, genuine. And so that trust is just real, real important to me. I love that. There's all kinds of reasons for our family gatherings. We send kids off to college and gather for that. We gather together when people come back from being away for a long time. We have lots of birthdays and things like that. And of course, there's Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter celebrations. Easter is one of my favorites. I have 5 acres, and 3 of the acres is just flat land, all grassland. Very tall grass grows out there. So every year for Easter, I'll cut a maze into the tall grass. And I tell the kids when they come over that the Easter Bunny lives out there. And if they go into that maze, they'll find little toys that the Easter Bunny leaves. And it's a delight. The kids just so willingly believe that, right? So all at once we say, okay, it's time to go to the maze, and they all go wandering out there in their beautiful, colorful Easter clothes, sometimes holding on to their parents' hands, sometimes going alone. I just love that. They all get excited when they find the little stuffed animals that the Easter Bunny left them. It's a delight. Another thing that we always have is a bounty of food, because all our family gatherings are typically potluck. And it's crazy when at first everybody's coming in, they have the food, they're trying to find a place to put it. The little kids are running around all over the place. The adults are smiling at each other, talking, hugging, catching up with things. But finally we get the table set. And it's just it's a culinary miracle almost. The variety of textures, flavors, colors, it just takes my breath away every year, every gathering. But when the table's finally set, I always say, if it's at my house anyway, I say, it's time for grace. And everybody knows what to do. After 40 years, everybody knows what to do. They all come out to the patio or into the house if it's cold outside, and we all hold hands to say grace. So what I like to do sometimes before I say grace is I like to have them look at each other. They turn to your left, and then turn to your right, and look at the people standing next to you. And then look at the people standing across the circle from you. Look into their face. These are people who love you. These are people you love. There's so much we have to be thankful for. Saying grace is really, it's kind of become quite an emotional event for me. One time I really kind of blew it. We had a big celebration when my daughter was over for, we were having everybody over, so we were sending her away to college. And I was just overwhelmed. Everybody came to show their support and love for my daughter, my firstborn child. And it just was very overwhelming for me. So when we were all holding hands and it was time to say grace, I started to falter a bit. My emotions just got the best of me, and I was choking up. And everybody was looking at me with puppy dog eyes going, oh, poor Andy, as I was stumbling through the prayer. But I finally made it to the end of the prayer and said, amen. Well, when I did that, that's time to go eat. And everybody rushed past me, got into the door, patted me onto the back. It's okay, Uncle Andy, or it's okay, buddy, whatever, whoever it was. They all know, after 40 years, they all know that I'm a big softy that loves his family gatherings. So I hope you can have a wonderful family gathering as well this Christmas season. Thank you.